Hey, sis, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Blk Grl Mob Pod, the podcast for the Blk Grl Mob Network. Look, we are so excited. Now, I know you enjoyed the first one. I've gotten plenty of feedback on our first conversation with Sister Keisha, and I promise you, they're all like this, like every single one of these conversations. And you're gonna be like, who are these sisters? Let me tell you, I'm so excited to introduce you to these incredible women in the Blk Grl Mob. Like these mob bosses are everything. And tonight's guest is no different. I mean, she's probably one of the most beautiful women on the planet. Like you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous. And of course, because she's a beauty queen, right? I have to introduce you to my sister. We have been connected for a long time now, going back to really some of the earlier versions of Blk Grl Mob when it was RVA Sisters United and when we were the Woo Network, and just I mean she's just such an incredible person. We connected once at a BNI meeting, guys. You got to occasionally go out to BNI, even if you are not a member of BNI. You got to go out there. You never know who you're going to meet. There's always so many incredible business owners at a BNI meeting. And what I love about going to BNI meetings is you know that they're dedicated because BNI is a whole job by itself. All right. So I connected with this at a BNI meeting, and it just we just hit it off. We've stayed connected over the years since then. She is not only just absolutely beautiful beauty queen, but she is a talented entrepreneur, event planner, radio show host, event host. She is just absolutely incredible in everything that she does. And she's just this amazing mom and friend. So, guys, without further ado, I want to bring to the camera my sister Jawanda. Sister Jawanda Smith, what's going on? Says out of Virginia. What's up, girl?
Thank you, sis. I don't know what to say after that introduction. I'm like,
I'm just
oh.
saying. I feel like I should be singing when you walk in. Beauty queens always have to have a song that's being sung when you're walking down, and just giving it to the people. You know what I'm saying? Just give it to the people. Exactly. Got to put the Vaseline on the teeth and all the kisses. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for being a part of our initial, set of mod pods. I'm so excited to have you. Absolutely, of course, one of the first people that I wanted to share this information with, and when I decided to just change this over. You've been such an integral part of everything that we've been doing over the past several years. I've always trusted your advice and your mentoring, your friendship when it comes to businesses, when it comes to networking, and when it comes to marketing, and really understanding how to connect with people. And you are a genius when it comes to this. So the people, if y'all don't know who she is right now, you're going to know who she is over the next few minutes, because this is a sister to know and follow everywhere. All right. So I want you to very quickly, just give us a little bit of who is Jawanda Smith. Give us a quick overview before we get into the nitty gritty this evening.
So I love to tell people that I'm a sister. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mommy. I am a widow, a young widow. I am forever reigning Miss Exquisite, full figure, DC,
Yes,
Maryland, and Virginia,
yes,
2 states and
yes.
the nation's capital. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm out here just hustling like every one of you are. And it's all about one of the things that you didn't mention is it's about your passion, your purpose, and your legacy.
Oh,
And
yes, yes,
when
yes.
Maya came out with that concept, that really helped me understand the direction I needed to go. That listening ear, I'm a prayer warrior, all the things create Jawanda. And as a businesswoman, I just believe, the sky is the limit. Go for everything you want. Don't let fear rule you, let faith run you. And that's a little bit about who I am. I'm a mommy of three phenomenal young girls that are growing
Yes,
into phenomenal women because I'm going to speak that over their life. And
absolutely.
I'm an encourager, a motivator, And I just like to inspire people to be strategic in all that they do so that they can build, brand, and boss their best life.
I love it. I love it. I love the fact that you are such a girl mom, and being someone who is a boy mom. I always crack up at how different our lives are when it comes to raising our kids, and I'm just like, oh, I would love to have some little girls. You could just the whole little girl experience, and I've watched these beautiful young women just blossom into the talented young women that they are. That's because they have such an incredible mom to guide them and take them through this journey, even with the challenges of
Yes.
being a mom of three girls, okay, with three very strong personalities. But it's beautiful to see the young women that they're becoming. So what was your first entry into entrepreneurship? How did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Girl, God made it happen.
Mm, right?
So it
Won't he do it?
that's so real. So my first entry into entrepreneurship was honestly watching my mother. She
Okay.
had an event management company and a modeling agency in school. So I grew up in the business. People will be like, "Well, how long you been doing events?" And I'll be like, "Since the womb," because
Right.
ultimately I was, and I grew up modeling, answering the phone for my mom, and doing all the things. And I'm gonna tell you, because I saw it, it was scary, and I was like, no, I want one of them regular jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
and nothing wrong with a regular job. Let me just say that.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted that comfort, that peace, because one thing that people don't realize in entrepreneurship, it looks real sexy and like,
Right.
oh, I can do things when I want. You work harder for yourself than you
Way
ever
harder.
will for anybody.
Much longer hours.
Yes. And even when you set hours, you're always thinking of it. There's always
Mm-hmm.
strategies and concepts coming. And you're going to go hard for you, way different than what you do when you're working for somebody. But
Absolutely.
God had been telling me to step out for years, and I was just like, but this is comfortable. And I was very complacent. What I did before was very like I could do it with my eyes closed with two hands behind my back, and
Yeah.
it was very easy. And I got in a car accident when I was pregnant with my third daughter, and I
Mm-hmm.
could not go back to work. I had a concussion. I was struggling to walk, all the things.
Yeah.
And it was like, but I don't need less money. This baby number three. We gonna
Mm-hmm.
need that income. And one of my friends was like, girl, just, why don't you start an event business? You always the hostess with the mostest.
Right.
Everything you do, even when you invite us over for like wine and cheese, it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
These birthday parties be extravagant and off the chain. And I was like, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it went from there. And every year it has just leveled up. And in each new season, something else has been added. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that,
Watching your journey has been, absolutely incredible. I mean, yeah, and the same with me. My watching my mom as an entrepreneur and watching her hustle, and from being a daycare owner to having her own cleaning business, that she was not afraid to just do something new, and not want to have to punch a clock. And so it's amazing how much our
mm,
mothers have had an impact on us, whether it's good or bad. Our moms have such an impact on us, just like you are having an impact on your girls, because they are seeing, what you're doing, and that's going to impact, how they even approach life. So knowing, from the beginning you had that, your mom as an influence of being an entrepreneur, that makes sense. And so you decided to go into, become an event planner. And so this when you launched it, start off as Let's Do It Right events, or did it start off as something else?
it started off as Let's Do It Right events. And my mother actually named the company
Oh, I
because
love it.
I was sitting with her talking to her about, if I'm going to do this, it's got to be right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you walk into spaces and you at events and you see all the things that they misstepped on. Like people didn't know that the hotel changed, or they didn't know there were no signs to show them how to get to where they needed to be. And I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That's it, mom, because we're going to do it right so that when
Mm-hmm.
people are looking at them in their event, they're going to understand that the way their event hits is the way they do in business. Because when your event
Yeah.
fails, then people are questioning your ability in your business. And that's
Exactly.
one of our goals with Let's Do It Right events. And that's how it was born.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just knowing from personal experience, just how you built put an event together. You walk into that room like, oh my goodness, like who did this? This is amazing. It makes such a difference. Just when you're able to create that vibe that your client is looking for. That's so important because lots of times you go to an event, you can tell the event planner it was their vibe and not necessarily the matching the vibe of the person, but you take time to make sure you hear my phone. You take time to make sure that you understand. You have such a clear understanding of who your client is, and getting that message across is absolutely incredible. And so just to as you started building the event business, then this other piece came out. And it was this journey with Jay. We've had so many conversations about what your next steps were going to be and some other ideas that you had. And there's so many life changing moments that you went through, and journey with Jay was born. So how did that one come about?
So it's funny because I remember during the pandemic, Mike King of Mike King Biz reached out to me, was like, you should do a radio show. And I was like, nope, not me. You have
Yes, Mike is gonna get you on the radio. Okay, Mike King Biz gonna, if you don't do anything else, Mike King gonna get you on the radio. Okay.
So then here I was with a crown and a platform. And I was like, I want to elevate it. I don't want to just do an event. I want to do an event like every day, every week. And I went back and and he was like coming at me again. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. But I'm not gonna do what you think I'm gonna do. Because he thought I was gonna get on the radio and talk about events. And I was like,
Right.
no, I'm gonna talk about the major event that's going on, people's lives.
Hmm.
People need to know that they can build whatever they decide, they can brand it, and they can boss it as long as they're willing to do the work. So I'm going to get on there and teach people like the best hacks. I'm going to educate people about taking care of themselves so that
Hmm.
they can be the best them when they're serving others and do all the things, and enter Journey with Jay, which was a hashtag I had been using forever, but
Forever.
now it became like a platform where literally it's Journey with Jay, but it's all about your journey. I'm just honestly taking you along on mine and sharing with the listeners and those that follow the concepts of things that even I had to gain to be where I am today and where I'm becoming for tomorrow.
Right. Right. So what was that like? What was that turning point for you then?
So one, my platform as the reigning queen was I had to give back, because what people don't realize is being a queen isn't necessarily about the crown, the jewels, the stashes, and the waving. It's about service. It's
Yeah.
about consistent service to the community and giving to them. And it was also getting out of my own way and practicing what I preach and not letting fear drive me, and focusing on the faith and just believing that the direction and everything would come. And what I will also say is it's all God, because
Mhm.
I'm very intentional in what I do on that radio show. It's not like I wake up that morning like, okay, we're gonna talk about this. No. Every season has a series. I'm very intentional on mapping it out and identifying the things that in my own journey that were
Mhm.
helpful to me, and even in the moment, things that I need to encourage myself. I know that I'm going through it and it's my story, because it's a story that's going to help propel somebody else to realize just because I'm dealing with this doesn't mean I can't move forward. Just because I'm in this space right now dealing with health issues or concerns doesn't mean I can't keep moving, keep focusing on the ways I can take care of myself. Even when I
Mhm.
hit a brick wall and I need to pivot, that's absolutely okay, because that's just part of the process.
Yeah. Absolutely. What were some of those brick walls for you?
For me, as I was raining, my body started just doing some funky stuff. Um,
Mhm.
I started having really bad issues with plantar fasciitis and not being able to walk and do things. So I had to really take time to focus on my wellness and
Right.
take time to make sure I was, drinking my water, eating right, doing the PT exercise, going to PT. and
Mm-hmm.
implementing additional things that I needed. Even before that, a big brick that wall that hit me during the course of my entrepreneurship was becoming a widow too. So having to adjust to going from a dual household to just me handling
Yeah.
everything by myself, and understanding to whatever woman is out there listening right now, thinking that she's not enough. You are enough.
Yeah.
You were made enough in your mother's womb, and you are enough for every step of your journey. And never question that, because you are. Other ones were, the pandemic, learning, having to pivot through that,
That
because
was the great brick wall.
especially in my business, because it's all about being with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even in that space, I created the concept of, going into people's homes and creating romantic affairs for them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
With that
remember that.
power of
Yeah.
10,
Yeah.
so it's believing in everything that you have, starting with where you're at, and foremost and above all that, believing in yourself. That's a huge one right there. No, you
Mm-hmm.
got this, sis, because you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, the majority of our audience is Black women, right? And so we know as sisters that we run into problems that we could create for ourselves, but we also run into problems that are created by other people. So what do you think are some of the hard lessons that you had to learn as a Black woman in the spaces that you've been in?
That I have to create the space for me, because unfortunately the reality is it's not built in for you,
Yeah.
because they're not looking for us. But on the flip side of that, as Black women, we are the standard. We create the space. We set
Right.
the bar. And it's so crazy that we're not expected to be in the room, yet we set the bar for the room.
Right. Right. The
Own
the
that
room is still looking the room is looking to us
all the time,
all the time. Yeah.
every day. Like, so many things stand on our back and on our legacy,
Mm-hmm.
and we completely at times forget that and don't have an
Mm-hmm.
understanding of that. Walk into the room like you own it, because you do,
Yeah.
and just build the relationship so you can create the space for yourself in that room.
Exactly. And it's, sometimes we walk into these spaces and we feel like we're, like I'm not supposed to be here, or, this is not a space I created. Even if you don't feel like you created that space, one of us created it for you. So
Yeah,
if you're walking, we walk into a space and we don't feel like we belong because it's not necessarily the space that you expected to be in. Someone came before you, right? And so, just to have that understanding of just the power that we have when we walk into a space, or
that
anything that we find our any situation we find ourselves in. There's always someone that we can look back on and say, oh yeah, they did this first, right? So, man,
and
that's and
I'm
yeah,
sorry, and you are not in the room by accident.
right.
There's a reason you're in that right place at that right time in that right moment
Hmm.
for you. And it might be you were trying to get there years ago, but that wasn't the season for it. So
Right.
now that you're there, own it. Smile, hold your head up high, speak your name. And here's the other secret, in my opinion. Nobody knows you and your business better than you.
Exactly.
Own that.
Right.
And when you own that, there's just a certain bit of confidence that's going to come through in everything that you say and do, and it's going to make people gravitate towards you and want to know.
Exactly.
And then they're going to be
Exactly.
like, where have you been? And they're going to
Right.
want you in every room that they're in.
What the kids say? Who gonna check me, sis? Like who?
Or
That's right. Right. I mean, oh my gosh, and I hope that our younger sisters. I hope that we're leaving that right. We're showing just like someone showed us or created that space. I hope that we're creating these spaces so that this next generation, when they come in, that there isn't even a question, that they don't even have some of the fears and anxieties that have been really built into us, that just, from the world experience. Hopefully we're creating a space for them now where when they walk into a room, there is no doubt that they're where they're supposed to be, so. And I think the more we talk about it, the more visible we are about it. Well, we're in a very unique generation, sis. I feel like,
We are.
the sisters now are so unapologetic with
Mm-hmm.
who we are, what we do, knowing what our value is. And yeah,
Value.
you're gonna have to pay our worth, right? Because I do actually know how much I'm worth, right? You can't hide numbers from us anymore. So it's I'm excited that we're walking in this space now, and then creating this legacy for our sisters who are coming behind us. How do you feel like you've changed? Now, I've watched how you changed. Even when we jumped on the camera, I'm like, girl, you're looking fantastic. There's just a glow. How do you feel like you've changed personally, like within these past few years, things you've gone through? What inner changes do you feel like you've gone through?
Oh my goodness. I have grown up so much. And I know to some people they'll hear that and be like, but you were already grown. No, there's a difference.
There's a difference.
There's a difference between gaining years
Mm,
and gaining growth.
mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
is a complete difference in that. And when I say that, what I mean is as you go through life, you can choose to allow things that could have broken you to break you, or you can choose to utilize those things to be a stepping stone in your growth, to allow you to expand and stretch beyond your imagination. And as I have matured, I've also come to even more deeper understanding of the importance of taking care of self.
Mm,
I was
yes.
definitely one of those people that I was pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. And you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. Just
Please
cup is
fill
dry.
yourself up. Yes. Please fill yourself up. And I have seen by making sure that I'm full, I'm definitely able to serve in a more dynamic way and show up as
Yeah.
my best self. So those are
Absolutely.
those are the things that during this growth process, this maturing process, and just managing all the things that life has thrown at me, because life will always be lifing,
Yeah.
is to make sure that I'm taking care of me, and that allows
Mhm.
me to take care of my family, take care of business, and to be a mentor and an encourager to other people that are watching.
Absolutely. And I think, in both of us have talked about, health challenges. We've talked about, things going on with family, and we get to the age where we can kind of step back and say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what is happening? I say that, I think I say that a lot now. Like, what is happening right now? Like, what is this? What is happening? Because we get to the age where instead of just reacting, we can pause and say, okay, let me evaluate
Yes.
what's happening in this situation. What's the best thing for me to do
Mm-hmm.
that's going to help me deal with this situation so that I can then help somebody else, right? But if you can't get yourself right first, how are we gonna help anybody else? And so it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be at the age where, like, oh, hold on, let me take a beat real quick. Let me see what's happening. Why is this happening? How's this about to impact me? And what do I need to do? What are my next steps so that I'm still getting what I need out of this situation? It's just, it's great we get to that point in our lives, right?
Right.
So, as we kind of wrap up, what would you want, this next generation of young women to know about Jawanda, and what can they learn from you, from everything that you've gone through? What is the takeaway that you want them to have?
So I'm gonna say this. Growing up, I would hear all the time, "Oh, you're cute for a heavyset girl," or "You're cute to be chocolate," or "always talking." All all those negative tape CDs or downloads that could play. And now I look
Mm,
back and I'm like, no, I'm gorgeous. Period.
Period.
And Miss Talkative is now an award-winning radio host.
Right.
And yes, I'm out the box with all the things, but you need to be out the box in order to accomplish dynamic things. So I would encourage the next generation coming behind me, the next woman CEO, entrepreneur, sister friend, all the things is dispel all the negative self-talk, dispel all the negative things people try to put in you, and do a deep dive on yourself and see how
Yeah.
all those things have actually turned around for your good.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I know who had talkative on their report card is doing something in talk. Like
Exactly.
everybody I know who was told, oh, there's limitations because of, this, that, or the other. Use that energy and create something dynamics, and not a because I'm gonna show them, but I'm gonna show me. I'm gonna
Right.
show me that I am worthy, that I am
Mm-hmm.
wonderfully made, that I am capable. And the other thing I would say is know who you are, and love every bit of you. And not just the beautiful, but love all the parts. Love the even the trauma you had to go through because it made you stronger. Even the
Mm-hmm.
things where sometimes we say, if I could go back, I would undo that. I wouldn't undo anything because every piece of the story, the ugly, the beautiful, the bold, the not so good, every piece of that is what has made you you. And even in those moments of trying times, that story is going to help push somebody else not to get stuck where they are. Share it,
Exactly.
embrace it, and love every facet of you, because it's when you do that for you that you will find your next elevation. But it starts with you loving some you, believing in you, being
Yes.
fearless and faithful, and trusting the process, because the journey is just that. It's not an instantaneous, oh, I made it to the destination. Your becoming is an everyday process, and your
Mm-hmm.
legacy is building in you daily. It's not what happens once you're gone. Every day you're building something, every day you're
Yeah.
impacting. And most importantly, with all of that, smile. Smile a lot. Even in the moments when you don't feel good, even in the moments you're like, can I smile? Because if you do it for 20 seconds, if something is going on that's trying to bring you down, chemically, your brain waves are going to change. So be the light, smile often, and believe in you because you got this.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, sis, for joining and being a part of the mob. Absolutely love you. So excited to just watch the next part of your journey. And yeah, man, you're doing big things, and I cannot, I just can't wait. I'm so glad to be able to just be a cheerleader on the side, cheering you on, and just excited about your next steps. So thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mob Pod.
Can I say one more thing? Because it wouldn't be right for me not to say it with you.
You got it.
Sis, you are beautiful, you are blessed, and you deserve absolutely nothing but the best. And I would love to connect with you.
Love it. All right. Y'all be blessed.